Hello, everybody. I'm Edna Maximid, and this is our group. It's called Leaders with Attitude.
I'm David Akis.
I'm Brian Sarah.
I'm Shil Gupta.
And our buddy Ben Verk will be in the video directly following this one.
So as a group, we chose to discuss the topic of whether or not conceal and carry licenses should be allowed to be used on the University of Minnesota campuses, allowing students to carry handguns.
We decided that they should not allow students to carry concealed weapons on campus because
one of the reasons are that 94% of the people are against conceal and carry on campuses. As you can see, it's a significant amount, and there was a poll carried out which came up to the conclusion that 94% are against it.
So another big reason that we found that was more statistics. Well, another statistics-based one came from a guy named David Fortunato. He wrote this article and studied whether or not increased handgun policies actually lead to differences in public beliefs. And he found that whether or not a community's laws are lenient against allowing handguns or very harsh and not allowing it, it has no effect on what the people in the community actually believe for like how many people are carrying handguns. And so that kind of goes against the natural thinking that the people who are committing these crimes will be fearful that people have handguns because there's no evidence that it will lead to them having those beliefs.
And just kind of feeding off of that, one other reason that we found was that there can be both outcomes with right to carry. You know, you can cause harm, but you can also avoid harm. But overall, statistically speaking, the homicide rate increases as gun control becomes more relaxed. So if you think systemically, if we as a nation took right to carry and made the laws more relaxed and allowed it on college campuses, it would only make sense that crime rates on college campuses with those same weapons would increase.
what are some counter arguments, guys?
Well, the main counter argument that we found was that we found a study that said that people who acquire concealed handgun licenses are typically more likely going to be law-abiding citizens, and that's often due to all the background checks and other procedures that are involved with obtaining one. So they have a lot of things in place to make sure that the people who are carrying concealed handguns are doing so safely, although that's not true 100% of the time.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of ethical debates that go on about this, especially with the mass shootings like Virginia Tech University and places like that. A lot of people say, you know, if they had only had handguns, they could have protected themselves. But looking at it, you know, you really want to be safer for the greater good, even though if in that instance one person having a gun could have changed the outcome, you never really know. And it's, you know, an ongoing ethical debate that this country faces as a whole, not just on college campuses.
Yeah, even an example of that was the Paris attacks that happened. They said that if only there were so many complaints that if there were citizens with guns, that threat could have been avoided. Things like that.
Yep.
And in general, people that go through all this to get a license, to go background check, to go through the classes and stuff, they're doing it for their protection, for their reasons, and they usually aren't the ones behind the trigger when it happens in school shootings.
All right, the next thing we wanted to discuss is kind of who loses out on the decision that we're making, because with any decision, there's going to be people who benefit and people who lose things. So we'll discuss that a little bit.
Yeah, we kind of highlighted, you know, kind of straightforward that people with concealed carry licenses are going to be losing out in this situation because they lose the ability to carry freely.
Yeah, if they have the right to carry, then why can they carry it where they want to carry it? Because obviously they got this right so they can carry it and access their rights. And they must have the presence of mind to take off their concealed carry when on campus. So usually people that do, doesn't necessarily mean they have to carry it on campus even if they have the right to carry it. It's just for a safety matter.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same way when you're going into a restaurant and it says, please do not bring guns in here. That's kind of more straightforward for people with concealed carry because there's something straight up telling them, hey, you can't have it in here, and there's a specific border. Especially with our campus, it's kind of, you can get confused about when you're on and when you're off campus. So having those blurred lines makes it a lot more difficult for people who do have those concealed carry licenses and do concealed carry off campus.
Yeah, and so I mean, those are some of the losses, mostly going to those people who have obtained these licenses. But in the end, we're still sticking with our decision not to allow it, even though we recognize that it may not benefit everybody.
Yeah, because at the end it causes more harm than it does good, and that's why we came up to this conclusion.
Well, thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.
All right.
All right, so for this part of the project, we're going to go over what parts we took out from it and really thought benefit us. And I think Edna's going to touch on this first part.
The first part is the article we read on the first day of class on the balcony. This article has been with us since the first day of class only because it's very important and it has helped us through our conflicts, our compromises, our ideas. Because most of the time when we're always in the dance floor, we can't see what's going on outside, so we have to step up and step out, go on the balcony, see what everybody's thinking, and come in and try to put in your 2 cents. But once we do that, figure a way to compromise, because you can't always see things from a lower point, you always see things from bird's eye.
Yeah, so the next kind of thing from class that we thought really tied into this project was what we did with our strengths. And the main takeaway that we had is that this project really helped us learn how to utilize our strengths in better ways and see how they're going to benefit us in the future as well. For me specifically, the two that I saw play out the most throughout this process were my analytical strength and my focus strength. The analytical strength really came into play with like discussing the topic of concealed carry licenses and like finding sources and making the decision on what our belief around it was, because a lot of the sources that we found were statistics based, which I found very convincing, because it was just someone kind of spitting out their opinion that wouldn't do a lot to sway my ideas. And so that really helped me switch the side that I was on and helped me make all the decisions throughout the process. The other one is my focus strength. That was mostly related to just working with people and getting things done on time. Whenever we would meet up, I'd always make sure to stay on task and keep focused and get through things as efficiently as possible, just so that we get the best work done. And I know everyone's got busy schedules, so just wanted to make sure we weren't being a burden on anyone in the group outside of the project.
Next, we're going to talk about our conflict animals. I think I saw this a lot in this project especially. There was, some conflict with meeting times and stuff like that, and I think I realized that my style doesn't work with everyone. It didn't work with everyone in this group, and I think, going on into the future, there's very rarely going to be a time where your style meshes with everyone else's, so I was a compromising fox, and sometimes that conflict doesn't mesh well, and one of the drawbacks of being a compromising fox is that by compromising a lot, you end up playing a lot of games and not really getting to where you need to go, and I think that happened, especially with, meeting times, willing to compromise and not really putting my foot down in any particular situation kind of just made this game of, okay, we'll get together here, but no, we can't, so I'll compromise and we can, meet at this time. So I think that's something that I really took away, and I felt that, it's going to benefit me in the future, and it's something that I think everyone in this group can take away into their future careers.
All right, and then one thing that I kind of took away from this project was the different values and different backgrounds we all had coming into this. We all come from different places, and a lot of these different places have shaped our own views. And so I feel like what we've all taken from this is how we understand that each person has different values, they have different backgrounds, but we try to understand why they're thinking a certain way, such as in this project, why they chose a certain topic and why they feel a certain way about this topic. And so personally for me, I'm going to touch on the with animals, and I was the collaborating owl. I really think this showed in our group because I was able to put myself in the situation where, hey, I would see why Brian might feel a certain way about guns compared to me living in the outskirts of a city while he lives in the dead center of a city. So that's what I personally took from it, and I'm pretty sure everyone else in the group felt the same way.
Then we just wanted to finish up with a quote that we found that really played into group work, and we thought was pretty interesting. It says, "Individually we are one drop, but together we are an ocean," and that's by Ryunosuke Satoru, who is a poet. We know what that means to us, but hey Jeff, what does that mean to you?
You too, TJ. Qu'est-ce que TJ?